So I ended on talking about hand antiseptics. So this is just hand sanitizer. So it's a liquid or gel used to lower the number of pathogens on skin. Just like I was talking about, you cannot use this in place of hand washing. Sometimes you can use it after hand washing just to have a second line of defense. Some hand care requirements for food handlers. Your nails should be cut short and unpolished, okay, and clean, of course. Okay, so this would be a good example of how your nails should look when working in a restaurant. New guideline says that if you do have longer nails or polished nails, you still can work in the restaurant, but you always have to have gloves. Okay, there are some points where food handlers with short, unpolished nails can be without gloves, such as working with food that is then going to be cooked to a minimum internal cooking temperature. They don't have to have gloves. However, if you have longer nails or polished nails or both, you must wear gloves. If you have an infected wound or cut that contains pus, it must be covered if it's open and draining. Okay. The type of cover depends on where it is on your body. If it's on your hand, finger, or wrist, you must cover the wound with an impermeable cover. Okay, a bandage or a finger cot would work. A finger cot is just like a little glove that goes on your finger. And then you must cover that with a single-use glove. So let's say I have a cut on my finger, I put a bandage on it, then my single-use glove will go on top of it. Okay, if I have a cut on my arm, I need an impermeable cover or bandage. And if it's on any other part of the body, you just need a dry, tight-fitting bandage. Single-use gloves. These are so important in commercial kitchens. They're always used, okay? You'll always see gloves in a restaurant. It must never take the place of hand washing. And I see this a lot. When I go into restaurants, I see employees taking off their gloves and then putting a fresh pair of gloves on immediately. Okay, this is not how it should work. Okay, when you take off a pair of gloves, you need to wash your hands before putting on a new pair of gloves. Every single time you put on a new pair of gloves, you must wash your hands. Okay, you do not need to use gloves with food that you are then going to cook to a minimum internal cooking temperature, and you do not need to wear gloves when you are washing produce. However, if you have longer nails or if you have polished nails, you must wear gloves. Okay, the gloves that you buy need to be approved gloves, disposable gloves. You need to have multiple sizes to fit all of your employees. And then you need to have latex alternatives because a lot of people, well, not a lot, a few people may have latex allergies, and you need to supply something that will not, they will not have an allergic reaction to. So how to use gloves, okay? You're gonna wash hands before putting on the gloves when starting a new task, okay? Whenever you put on a new pair of gloves, you must wash your hands before. So select the correct size glove. Hold gloves by the edge when putting them on. Once gloves are on, check for rips or tears. If there are rip or tears, you're gonna have to change the new pair of gloves. Make sure to wash your hands before you do so. Never blow into the gloves because your breath may contain pathogens. Never roll gloves to make them easier to put on, and never wash and reuse gloves. When to use your gloves? As soon as they become dirty or torn, before beginning a new task, after an interruption such as a cell phone call, after handling raw meats, seafood, or poultry, and before using before handling ready-to-eat food, and then after 4 hours of continuous use. Let's say you go into an 8-hour shift and your job is to cut lettuce for the whole entire time. Okay, you can't. If you stopped, if you worked start to finish, you would not be able to keep your same pair of gloves on. Okay, let's say you cut lettuce for 4 hours. At that 4-hour mark, you have to stop, wash your hands, or take off your gloves, wash your hands, put on a new pair of gloves, and then you can work for the rest of the 4 hours. I'm sure there are going to be interruptions in between. And remember, after those interruptions of going into the fridge, taking a cell phone call, you have to wash your hands again and put on a new pair of gloves.